Hello, hello, hello.
We're live, family, and oh my goodness, we have a delicious conversation going on. Because whenever you're watching this show is being filmed on October of 2020, the historic 2020, the 2020 that is going down in the record books as a huge year for humanity. This has been a big one. This has been a big year for a lot of us in a lot of ways, a lot of growth, a lot of transformation. For me, a lot of learning. I've just been learning a lot about health, about biology, about soil, about science, just about a lot that I probably never would have thought of looking into if,
So true.
right, we hadn't been having this conversation. So, family, I have to introduce you to Dr. Nicholas Singh. Now, Nikki and I met in Peru, and it was an incredible. I'm gonna let you tell that story. How did we meet?
Oh boy, oh boy. Uh, there was a turning point in my life, man, and something came to me and said, I must go to Peru right now. Got it arranged, and boy, to be honest, it was just one encounter with you and we were bonded. To be honest, just one encounter. Just
It,
one.
just like that, right?
Just one.
Over ayahuasca, right? That's what
Oh
made our
yeah.
conversation, right? Over ayahuasca. And you know what I loved about it? It's so pure, it's so real, so just soul connection, just instantaneously. So
Definitely.
it was a change, it was a turning point for me too, Nick. I'm gonna call you Dr. Singh, Dr. Nicholas Singh, because that's your name.
That's fine. That's fine.
It was a turning point for me too, because that was the first time I'd ever done ayahuasca. That was the time when I got the name Kaisi. That was the induction in plant healing, plant medicine, and all of that. It transformation off the charts. Transformation.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. It's like life trajectory altering. It's that profound. Is that profound? Oh my goodness, Derry, it's your 50th birthday. Happy birthday, Derry. Happy birthday. I just had a birthday on October 4th. So let's talk about what we're talking about today. First of all, if you're new to the channel, I'm Reverend Valerie Love. If we haven't met before, this channel is all about spirituality, inspiration, upliftment. I'm here for your freedom. I always say that spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially freedom, right? To free our minds and to always be able to move from love and not from fear. That is what this conversation really ultimately is about today. And today we have with us Dr. Nicholas Singh, who's originally from Jamaica. Yeah, man. Oh my God, I love Jamaica. I've been to Jamaica 4 times. One time when I went to Jamaica, Nick, they didn't want to let me out. They were like, no, you belong here. Go over there to that other. They didn't
Honorary
want to see me
Jamaican.
out. I was like, no, really, I'm not from here. Yes, you are. Well, so that was a lot of fun. I love Jamaica. So can you talk to us about who you are, how you came to medicine, Jamaica? How did you become Dr. Nicholas Singh before we go further? Who are you? How did you become who you are?
Well, that's a very interesting story, actually. I think I was about age 4, thereabout. I got hit down by a car, and I
You
thought I was
got hit
gonna,
by a car at 4.
yeah, yeah, lost consciousness and everything. Yeah.
And
So
then what
when,
happened? Oh my God, I
so
never knew this. And then what happened?
yeah, so then I went to the hospital, and when I woke up, eventually I saw this big bandage on my foot. And then a few days later, I saw the wound and I thought I was going to lose the foot. And the doctors and nurses nursed me back to health. So since then, I was dedicated to the cause. I said, I must give back, because I thought I was going to lose my leg as a child. And that was my driving force.
Oh my goodness. How long did it take to heal your foot?
Well, the wound essentially got covered like in a couple months, but then I still had the scar for quite a few years and I felt self-conscious about it and stuff. But it wasn't until I got to around age like 12, 13 that the wound started to smooth out fully.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of fear around that as a young child? Like that sounds like traumatic.
Definitely, I thought I was going to lose my foot and I wouldn't be able to play the way I would and all that. So it was serious, man. To me as a child, it was very serious.
That is like, oh, that's huge motivation. I never heard that story.
Yeah.
Huge motivation. Oh my goodness. And then when did you make the decision? I'm gonna go into helping people feel better, and then follow that decision up with like actually going to school and to become Dr. Nicholas Singh?
No, it was from that time, from that time, because I said no, I have to be a doctor because I want to give back, just like how they helped to heal me. So even for like, I think it was my 8th birthday, my mom got a first aid kit for me, and I was so happy.
They bought a first aid kit for you when you were 8 years old. I love it.
So
Oh my
so
goodness.
anytime my friends would get like a little cut or something, I'd be running for my first aid kit, and I'll come out and I say, let me help you, let me help you.
So you were Dr. Nicholas Singh at 8, basically.
Basically.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I love how our destiny unfolds. So then, what happened when you got to medical school? Was it what you thought it was going to be when you were a young person?
No, it was a great disappointment, to be honest.
What
In my
happened?
All right. Approaching med school, my mom always told me not to create mental blocks. So a lot of people were telling me that, oh, med school is so long and it's so difficult. So I was like, look, I don't want to hear. I'm just focusing. I'm going to go in, right?
Mhm.
Now, in my mind, I had the impression that I'd go and meet some older guys and they would take me under their wing. I'd be their apprentice and they'd show me how to take care of people. We'll go by the bedside and, just heal people and stuff. That was not it. That was not it. That
what,
was not it. The
what
first
actually
time, yeah, the first time I went on the ward, right? It was this older white guy, and his first conversation was with us involved a lot of cursing. I couldn't believe it, right?
okay.
Yeah. The patients were afraid to speak to the doctors, I realized, and ward rounds were like military style. So they embarrassed a lot of us and saying, are you stupid? How can you not know this? And they embarrass you in front of the patients. Like if you listen to a lot of the doctors and medical students, you'll realize that they're highly stressed, man. And at the
Mhm.
end of the day, it's almost like I just wanted to get out. That was not what I had in mind for treating patients. As a matter of fact, I resigned in November because I was like, that is it. I'm going to start my own practice. I couldn't take it anymore, man. It's not the right, and even the way the hospitals are built, that's not the environment people need to be in to heal. No, man. No, man.
In what way? What could be different to help people heal? I'm curious about that.
If you look at the hospitals, it's almost like a prison. It's a lot of thick walls and everything. There are not enough plants. Even the sounds that the machines make, they're
Mhm.
not sounds that are healthy to listen to. They are sounds that make you worried. You need nice soothing music inside. You need plants around you. You need nice scenery. You need pleasant people. You need more space.
That sounds like a place I would like to go whether I was sick or not sick.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
and if you are sick, that's where you need to be in a healthy place.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Why is that missing then? Because I never went to a hospital like what you just described. I mean, that would be
yeah.
why is that missing?
I think initially when they built hospitals, it wasn't just for a hospital, it was also built as like a barrack in the case that, wars. Because remember, we're coming from a period of war and all that. So the
Mhm.
hospital is not just a hospital, it's almost like a little fortress should things go sour. So I think that's part of the reasoning.
Uh-huh. So how
Right.
do you treat people now? What is your specialty? How do you work with your patients?
All right. So I've been in the surgical field up until November, like I was telling you. So to be honest, I've cut off more foot and cancers than I want to remember, right?
Wow.
And looking at it now, I'm seeing patients at the end of the line. And a lot of what I'm seeing can be prevented. And I know it sounds so simple, right? Which
Mhm.
is why I'm trying to go through education so that when I say diet, like a balanced diet and exercise, oh my God, the effects are tremendous, like tremendous. But it takes effort, right? And so I want to go at the beginning of the line. I want to educate people to let them know that, look, this is why diet and exercise is important. This is why healthy thoughts are important.
Mm.
And this is why you need to connect with your emotions and not say that, oh, I'm so emotional and that. It's important.
Wow. So now, when you have people coming to you, you're no longer seeing people in a surgical fashion cutting off this or cutting out that or cutting. You went all the way to the front of the line now, where we can have a real impact on people's health with diet and exercise. Why don't people do it? That's very simple. You're absolutely accurate. Why don't people do it?
The system that currently exists makes it difficult because most people would say that why don't you just do it? And when you listen to those motivational speeches, they're like, just do it and go. No, it's not that simple. It's not that simple. People, a big part of it are jobs, right? Our jobs are very demanding. And at the end of the day, most people become really tired and stressed, and then they do have the family and the personal issues. So just that in itself is a big deterrent. Then the foods that they keep advertising on television and the way they market it, they're showing all these pizzas and a truckload of alcohol and making it look like it's good when you go party Friday night and drink all this alcohol and then you vomit and you're sick the next day. Think about it, you vomit and sick the next day. No, everything in moderation, man. But it's just the marketing and just how society is designed right now. And there's a whole lot of anxiety about how the bills are going to be paid. There's a whole lot of issues going on right now. So for one to say they're going to actually have a healthy lifestyle, they need to spend like a month or so thinking about how they can make it possible and if they need to change their jobs or whatever. I had to resign to take care of myself, you know. And if you look at most, if you look at most doctors, they're not the healthiest, you know, because they are so stressed at work. Work is so demanding. So that's why I'm going to use education and then still see a few patients and help them personally because that's all I can do.
Wow. So now you have a YouTube channel. So what inspired you to start the YouTube channel and start this education?
Right. As I'm saying, I'm going to the front of the line. So as much people as that will be aware of me and follow me, when I am finished, I promise you, they will be living their best life. I promise you that. I promise you that. Right?
So change their mind, right?
Right. So coronavirus, no, this pandemic that's here, that's a big issue. And the vaccination, that's going to be the next major issue. So those were the first two videos I did. I just did it just to speak on the topic so that people understand what's going on. And then now I'm going to explain how the body works so that at the end, when I do tell them that, look, diet and exercise is amazing, they will understand.
They will, because you will have educated them. And part of it is probably deep, what's the word I want to say? De-educating yourself. Because of all that stuff that the media keeps putting into our minds about.
Oh, trust me.
Have you found?
Trust me, the media, oh my God, the media is dangerous. If you are not aware that you are just processing information. Now, if all you're processing are harmful information, you're going to have harmful thoughts without even knowing it. You have to be careful of the information that you're processing. You have to be careful. And that is where the majority of the world is right now. It is all about the mind, you know. That is where the world is right now. That is why media and communication is the biggest industry, in my opinion, right now, because it's people's minds that are the prize right now.
And it's so powerful, isn't it? Like we watch, people watch CNN, they get real. It's like it's straight in there. It gets the emotions and everything.
Yeah.
So they want to know what your YouTube channel is, and of course, I'm looking at the comments, and of course, we're going to link up everything for Dr. Nick in all of what we do here in the description on YouTube and Facebook. So, Dr. Nick, what is your YouTube channel so we can talk about that too?
Well, it's actually called Your Health, but because I'm so young right now, you won't be able to find it. But my latest video, you'll be able to search and find it. But it's called Your Health. It's too young right now to be found, but you have to start somewhere.
We're going to link it up to be sure you find it and go straight to it, right? So now, you said diet. But
my Facebook, it's Nicholas M. Singh. If you search that, it's a public page, so everything there is available.
Yep, you will find Dr. Nicholas M. Singh on Facebook as well. So you mentioned diet, you mentioned exercise. So how does a person that's on a SAD, standard American diet, processed food, fast food, whatever, food that doesn't have any life, how do they start? First of all, what are they supposed to be eating? And how do they start making that change?
All right. Okay, we're talking about diet and exercise today. Okay. All right. So the first part of it is to work on your mind, right? You have to start thinking about the foods that you're putting in your body. So like I was saying in one of my videos, you have to think about your body like a machine, right? Now, if you have a vehicle and it requires like a 90 the gas that you would put in requires a 90, and you're putting in 87, then it's going to mess with the injector, right? So you say, okay, no, it's still gas, but you can imagine if you're putting like water inside the gas tank. That's why you need to start looking at your body. You can't be putting in poisons into your body and expect to be healthy, right? Cannot be putting in poisons in your body and expect to be healthy.
But
so
the poisons are like almost everywhere. Like they're sprayed on the food. Like, how do you start to get rid of the poisons? Because they're like
all right.
everywhere, right?
All right, so the body is very resilient, and I know there's a lot of modifications of food and all that, but still, the closest you go to the sun, the healthier you'd be. All right, so the more plant-based foods that you eat, the better you'll be. I'm not saying that anything is wrong with meat, but the
Yeah.
closer you go to plants, the more healthy you'll be. And in terms of meat, you find that seafoods, like not foods that they grow on farms, but foods that you'll find in the sea that the fishermen go out and catch in the wild. That's why they're a bit more expensive as well. Those foods are very healthy as well, right? And if you can find farmers that actually grow their chickens or cows or whatever organically, then that's better too. So you just have to try and find those foods that are healthy. And look, we are like what, approximately 70% water. So you need to be drinking a whole lot of water, right? And a simple way to know if you're reaching your water limit, they'll tell you the amount of volumes you need to drink, but your body, everybody's body is different, right? If you're drinking enough water, when you look at the color of the urine, right, it will become clear when you're at a good level. If it's yellow and very concentrated, you know you're way behind, right? When you realize that it's clear now, then okay, you're topping up. So almost anything that you drink at that point will start coming right out after, right? So that's in terms of the amount of water I'd say to drink. And in terms of eating, the portion size is very important, right? Yeah, the portion size is very important. Now, the stomach.
With this in America, these huge plates of food.
No man, no man. That's too much strain on the body because remember the body is very dynamic, so it can accommodate to anything, right? Like, so for example, we're to behave like bears when the winter come, there wouldn't be any food. Then it would make sense to get a bit obese so that we could survive until spring, right? But that's not the case in our situation. So when we're eating,
look like bears. We got extra. I even got a couple of extra pounds.
Right, right, right. Because with the portion size, when you eat large amounts, you can literally feel your stomach stretching, right? Yeah. And if you keep doing that over a period of time, then the stomach, even within your body, the stomach now becomes larger. So that's something else that you have to deal with. So when you start cutting back on the portion sizes, the stomach will start contracting. By doing that as well, you'll be reducing the amount of calories you're taking in. So there'll be less calories to burn off, right? And when it comes to exercise, it's simple. Just start small. If you're very obese or have a lot of weight on, don't start jumping and running and all these things because you're going to damage the joints and the muscles are not strong enough. So just take it easy. Just start walking a little more, like 30 minutes to an hour, like 5 times per week would be great. But start with what you can and just gradually work up. And your muscles will slowly start getting stronger and you keep doing more and more until you get the hang of it. No one got fat in 3 months. So don't expect to get slim in 3 months. No one got fat in 3 months, right? Give yourself enough time. If it takes a year, 2 years, 3 years, I guarantee you, if you start cutting back on all these processed foods and start eating more plant-based and healthy foods, I guarantee you within 4 to 5 months, you're going to be so pleased with yourself, you will not want to stop. But you have to go to at least 4 to 5 months.
At least 4 to 5 months before you start seeing some significant changes.
Some real changes. You'll be proud of yourself, man.
Okay. So now, if we were following this kind of protocol, if we are eating well, closer to plants, more fish caught in the wild, not this fish that they're making, right? More of that. When something like coronavirus comes along, what's going to be the difference between people that are obese and have all these, they call them comorbidities, versus people who have been, really tending to themselves?
Excellent. Oh, I love how you tied that in. That's so good. Wow. Nice. All right, check it. Okay, so all right. Now let me talk about the person that's unhealthy first. If the person has a lot of weight on, then the heart has to be beating at a faster and harder rate to supply the extra body that you have, right? And so the heart is already under pressure because of the fat and everything, and the more waste that you're producing is putting your lung under more pressure. The kidneys have to be processing more. The liver has to be processing more. There's a lot of organs that are already under pressure. So now when an infection comes in, it's not even just corona, it's any infection. When an infection comes on board now, your temperature goes up, the heart rate goes up, the demands on your body significantly goes up. So if you're already at a critical point and then an infection comes on board, then it's going to crash. Now, if you're in a healthy state, not only is your heart going to be stronger, your lung capacity greater, not only that, it's hard to explain this part because they even still don't fully understand it, but just being healthy in terms of having a good exercise regime and eating properly, there's so many minerals and vitamins in these fruits and vegetables, right? They're fixing so many things that we're unaware of that when the virus does come, it's almost like they're saying, okay, we're going to handle this one. We're going to handle this one, all right? So it's hard to explain. There's so many systems that it affects. And even your state of mind, when you're in a healthy state, you feel better about yourself. You start releasing endorphins and healthy hormones. When you're stressed, you're releasing cortisol and a lot of stress hormones, and those things can actually cause heart attacks. And then if you should get sick on top of it now and you're worrying even more, it's just a whole cascade of negativity. So you need a cascade of positivity,
To go in the opposite direction, and we can turn it around, right?
We can turn it around. We just have to decide that, look, I'm going to start, and I'm going to start small, and I'm going to start with thinking first. Everybody's life is different. So what I did won't work for somebody else, right? So the person needs to just stop and think, how can I start improving my life right now? How can I start? If the only thing the person can stop doing right now is stop drinking soda, that's a big start. That's the first thing and only thing they can do. Stop drinking sodas. There's nothing in it.
Nothing good in soda.
There's nothing, it's just sugar and water.
That is really profound what you're saying, because that's what I did over the last few years. Every January, I just dropped something that wasn't good for me. So one year I dropped soda. I used to be addicted to Pepsi. I also used to be 70 pounds heavier than I am right now. And so after I had my third child, when she's 19 now, I was this big 200 and some odd pound woman, and there's no reason why a small person like me should be 200 and some odd pounds. And it didn't feel good.
Right.
It did not feel good. And so I just started, every January, I would just let go of something. One time I would let go of, one year I let go of pork. One year I let go of beef. One year I let go of white sugar. One year I let go of sodas. One year I let go of Oreo cookies. I used to be addicted to Oreo. bad. I was on it.
I'm going to be honest. I still have a one or two Oreos every now and then. We're not going fully extreme, right? We can still indulge a little, right?
Right, little by little. You can still have an Oreo cookie, but you just can't have 5 Oreo cookies every night, right? So now I hear you talk everything that you've been saying. You say it begins in the mind. We've got to make a decision. So what effect is fear having, regardless of what you choose with your health, right? Who your healthcare practitioner is. Definitely see your healthcare practitioner. We have a disclaimer that goes with this video. And so we're not saying that you shouldn't see doctors or anything like that. See your healthcare practitioners. What effect is fear having on people? Because there's just so much fear around COVID and Corona. What is that effect of fear on your body?
All right. No, boy, fear is dangerous because, like I said, the fear, and you have to look, it's not just fear. It's fear from what? People are worried about the infection. They're worried about all these conspiracy theories about the vaccines. They're worrying about their jobs. Maybe they lost their jobs. Maybe they're making less. The future is uncertain. There are all these uncertainties, and that's where the fear is coming from. Now, in medicine, we call it cognitive behavioral therapy, right? The first thing you have to start doing is to just stop again and just think. And you need to mentally work through it to remove these fears from your mind. And the only way you're going to remove those fears is to educate yourself. You have to be truly aware of what's happening, not just listening to those emotionally tantalizing news, whether they're good or bad. You need to look at both sides of the argument and find that middle ground and try and find peace. It's only a peace that will remove the fear, And it's through education. You have to educate yourself about the world that we're living in right now. There are a lot of good things happening in the world, but the news and the media always, I don't know if it's just how human nature is, but the bad news are always just promoted greater than the positive news, you know? But trust me, there's so much love in humanity, it's just that it's not being verbalized and spread. We are not alone, and if you're truly in need, trust me, the universe is going to provide somebody to help you, right? You just have to start making those little positive decisions. And the world is going through a great change right now. Now is the time to bring out your creativity and your innovation. The world is changing, and it's going to be changing for the better, in my opinion.
Me
We
too.
just have to come together, work together, just work together. It's so much better when you work together.
That is one of my biggest questions about this issue, that people seem to be very angry in some parts of the conversation. People seem to be, really in a fight and calling it politics and calling it a lot of things that it doesn't have to be. That's why I appreciate these doctors that came together. There was a group of doctors that came together yesterday, I think sometime in the last few days, maybe September 30th, around there in Massachusetts, to come together and just, politics aside, race aside, cultures aside, countries aside, all of that aside, and just say, how can we help people simply, understand this better? And how can we protect people who are very at risk? And what do we do with all the other people? So what do you say about, people who are maybe angry? Maybe some people are angry maskers versus anti-maskers, vax versus anti-vax. Like, how can we get beyond that? Because we're not going to reach that peaceful place, right? Arguing, yet there's a place for everybody at the table. We can talk about it. Everybody can bring all of their views to the table. We need everybody. So what do you say about that? Because this seems to be like a polarizing issue when it doesn't have to be.
Correct. To be honest, this is the point where the mature ones have to behave in a mature fashion, right? So I understand that there's a lot of pain in the world, right? And a lot of deceptions have occurred in the past, and I do agree there are a lot of atrocities that occurred in humanity. So the pain and anger that exists is not unwarranted. I understand where it's coming from. But for those that can see through the pain and the distrust and all that, we just have to be patient. We just have to educate who we can and try and set a good example until those that are angry and when I use the word ignorant, it just means lack of knowledge, right?
We just don't know.
And those that are ignorant right now,
just don't know.
Right. We just have to give them time to come around because this is similar to like when we're entering into the year 2000 and they were talking about all the computers are going to crash and all right 2K, right, and all that.
We thought the whole world was
my right. Exactly. So this is just another major shift again because the pandemic is here. You have to understand, people's livelihoods have significantly been disrupted. They are locked up in their houses essentially, and they can't visit their family and friends. They can't get out for the entertainment to keep their sanity. So even mental health right now is being strained as well. So there's a lot of things happening in the world right now, and I don't think the reactions are surprising. I don't think it's surprising at all. It's a lot, and people already had a lot on their plates. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. It's a lot. So we just have to be patient, educate, and just love,
Yeah, and to really pour love on it, love on itself. Because look at all the parents that have had to all of a sudden become teachers to kids. They say that domestic abuse is up, child abuse is up, which is really disheartening, and that we're living in an unprecedented time in human history. And it seems like we have a choice point. It seems like we have come to a choice point. I was watching this thing called this movie on Netflix called Kiss the Ground. I don't know if you heard about it. And they're talking about the desertification.
No, I haven't watched that one as yet. Sorry.
They're talking about the desertification of land and how a lot of the land, we don't have soil anymore. We have dirt, and it's progressing around the world. And they were talking about exactly what you're talking about, returning to the earth, getting foods from the earth. the microorganisms that are in the earth support our health. So what would you say about the microorganisms? I thought about this earlier as you were speaking about the immune system, the healthy gut, the healthy bacteria that do help us in the immune system, and the connection with the microorganisms in the earth and all around us. I mean, we're very afraid of microorganisms, maybe because we don't understand it. So how can we have a better understanding of microorganisms like bacteria, viruses, all these things?
Okay, so we understand how some of these microorganisms work, but we don't understand fully the connection between it all. But let me just give an example of some microorganisms and how they are beneficial, and then some harmful organisms. So you have organisms on your skin, for example, that help to maintain a normal pH balance. So that is why, I start use apple cider vinegar on my face now to help balance that acid pH, and that's working tremendously. I like doing experiments before I speak about them. And then as it pertains to the gut as well, you find that when you eat more fiber and those foods closer to the plants, and you find that you'll have a healthier gut as well. And what is actually surprising, when you look at the ratio of cells between the cells that comprise you versus the amount of cells in your gut, the cells in your gut far outweigh the amount of cells that you actually own. So you have more microorganisms in you than you are you in terms of cells. So that's something to think
I heard
about.
a doctor say that, and I was shocked that we have more like
It's very,
than
oh yeah,
actual human cells. Wow.
right. Because they even have certain portions in the gut where certain organisms reside specifically, and you have certain surgeries where you have to remove portions of the gut. And by removing portions of the gut, you can't even absorb certain vitamins anymore, and so you have to take those vitamins as is. So some of these bacteria in there are it's just like how we work in real life, like I help you, you help me. It's that same concept of mutualism. By you providing the right food to the bacteria and keeping that microorganism healthy, that microorganism now in turns break it down for something that benefits you. So by helping me, right, I'm helping them, and then you helping me, I'm helping you. It's just mutualism, man. It's just togetherness. Everything is connected. Everything is connected.
I love how you say that, because it makes us understand what Albert Einstein, he said, the only question you have to answer for yourself is, do I live in a friendly universe? So I think this thing made us think, oh my goodness, it makes you afraid that maybe I live in an antagonistic universe, that all these things are out to get me. Whereas it's a synergy, like in all
It's a synergy.
Synergy, right?
No, yeah, I just wanted to say something in terms of microorganism and what's happening in the world, because with everything there are pros and cons. The earth has been under a whole lot of strain because of our activities. Now, as much as we are suffering, I guess the earth was suffering for a period of time. So since a lot of travel and production in terms of industries have kind of been slowed down a bit, the earth is getting a chance to regenerate now. So pollution, in terms of air pollution, that's improving. Some of the animals now are resurfacing. Some of the forests are getting time to grow back. So it's not like, oh, we are the only ones suffering and that is just suffering. No, there's still benefit happening at the same time. And the world will never go back to the way it was. If you look at it, the world will never go back to the way it was. So we just have to approach it with love and knowledge, and we'll be fine, man. Just be patient and just do the best that we can do each day, one day at a time. One day at a time.
One day at a time. I am definitely on the side of we will win this, because we've won everything. Humanity has been on the planet for 40,000 plus years, right? I mean, maybe longer. We have been at this life of bacteria and viruses. Viruses have been here have they been here for a very long time? Bacteria maybe predate humanity. I don't know the science of it. We've been here for a very long time.
Yes, we have.
Huge Spanish influenza, all Black Plague, and wars and global wars, and how did we survive for so long? We do have the ability to evolve and grow and adapt, and this is our opportunity to evolve again.
Right. And let me just use this opportunity to just throw in that point on vaccine since you just said that, right?
Yeah.
When smallpox was ravishing the world, right? It was like in the late 1700s. Edward Jenner actually developed vaccination, and that's how smallpox got eradicated from the earth. It's no longer in the general population,
Yeah.
and and that is why it's through education, experiments, and knowledge that you can make the world a better place, right? Imagine if we hadn't found that out. We'd still have smallpox dealing with this point, and a whole lot of people dying if we didn't stumble upon antibiotics. People used to die a lot from infection. This is nothing new. People used to die a lot from infection. You get a simple cut, and that could potentially be life-threatening.
Woo.
Or we have antibiotics now, so it's like, okay, yeah, we sort that out, man. So take some antibiotics. Oh, Oh, we have vaccines, man. Measles, mumps, rubella, polio, all those things. Oh, we're not even thinking about those things anymore.
Mhm.
We have a new virus now that came on the surface, and as we can see, it's a serious one. We need to take it under serious consideration. So, in my opinion, right, I know not vaccines normally take a longer time to develop,
Mhm.
but it is because of the pressure. The whole world is on lockdown right now. So you can imagine that everybody is pooling together to try and develop a vaccine as quickly as possible so that we can get back to our normal lives. We can go back out in public and enjoy ourselves and everything. So, you know, yeah.
Yeah, and speaking to all our audience, because some people are vaxxers, some are anti-vaxxers, and I don't have an opinion for other people. I only know what I will do with my own body, right?
Right,
That's
right,
what each person, right, has got to decide. And I would offer that we decide that from a place of love, education, and wisdom, rather than
right,
decisions from fear and ignorance
right,
or from conspiracy theories even. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a person that studies a lot and I listen, like you were speaking, to all sides of the issue. I love listening to virologists, people who specialize in epidemics, pandemics, people who are in biology, soil biology, the microbiome. I have been listening to more experts on more things than I've ever had in my entire life. Probably what I learned in 2020 is more than
So true, so true,
turning into a scientist or something. I don't
so
know.
true, so true, so
Because we
true.
had to. We had to learn. And all this information was available to us. It's all on YouTube. But I
Yep,
wasn't looking at it, not because I'm a willfully ignorant person. I love studying. But normally I'm studying about the things that I love studying about, which is spirituality and magic and mysticism and the mind and human transformation and
oh
personal
yeah.
development, all that stuff. That's where I
Right,
stay. I'm a
right.
study. That's my lane because I love all of that. And that's what this
I
channel is
love
about.
it.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Plant medicine and how do you, help people overcome addictions and behaviors and how do we change our behaviors and psychology and how does this thing work and how does the mind work? I love all that stuff. So I wasn't just gonna pick up something about virology. I wouldn't. I have books now about virology, biology. All of that. I've been looking at YouTube videos about the soil, about microorganisms in the soil, the microorganisms in the gut, the microorganisms in the brain-gut connection. I would have never bought all those books. So this has been an enriching opportunity for me to learn about the world. I've even been reading and hearing about trees and how trees operate. That if one tree gets diseased, it can send messages to all the other trees and they start tooling themselves with how to
Yep,
fight that thing.
yep. It's
That's
all connected, man. We are all connected.
We're all connected. Oh my goodness. So, what 3 top things would you say to people to start right now doing to better their look, whether there's a vaccination, whether there's not, whether there's pills, whether there's not, we can all take the power in our own hands to make our lives better, right? Make our health better, right? So what would you say are the top 3 things that people can do right now to say, okay, I'm gonna make my health better, wherever their health is? Some people, all of us have a different level of health. What's something all of us can do? 3 things that you would say that would make the biggest impact and difference on individual health and public health?
Okay, first of all, start thinking more positively and educate yourself. That's the first part. Start thinking, yes. You have to start thinking more positively so that you can try and find some solutions. So that's the first part. Start thinking more positively, educate yourself, and see how you can make things better. That's the first step.
So
The next thing is,
that's number one. It's got
that's
to
number one.
So why are you saying that that's the number one thing?
Because if you rush and start doing something and you haven't developed a firm mindset in what you're planning to do, by the next 2 weeks you'll abandon it. It doesn't make any sense.
I've done that.
You have to develop a firm mindset. That's the first thing. Develop a firm mindset so that you will not be wavered. Be sure that whatever arguments come, you'll be able to still stand your ground. That you need a firm mindset and not an irrational one. Put all the information together and develop a firm mindset. That whatever information come, you're willing to listen, right? But you're still able to make a firm, logical decision at the end of the day. So you need a firm mindset that can deal with whatever obstacle will come your way. That's the first thing, a strong mindset.
Okay, that strong mind. Woo. That's where most people fall down because we're wishy-washy in our thinking. We think this way one moment, that way the next moment, watch this and then watch that. Information overload. So what you're saying is pick something and stand on it.
Yeah, but before you fix your mind, I don't want you to fix it in something irrational.
Right. I heard you say not irrational. I was like,
right, that's important. That's important.
Can you talk about that? Because we are a lot of irrational people.
No, that part is good, which is why I'm saying it takes a little while. So it's not something that I expect you to just come up with by tonight, right? You need to sit down with yourself in private, right? No distractions. And if you need a pencil and paper, so be it, right? Start putting what you actually know for a fact for yourself that you're sure about. That regardless of what happened, you say, no, I know this is true. I know this is true, without a doubt. And be honest with yourself, because sometimes we convince ourselves of things that are not true enough, right?
Yeah.
So regardless of whatever argument someone is coming with, this argument can stand. That is what I consider truth. Which whatever argument you're coming with, if I can say this is always true, then I said, okay, that's a truth. All right, and I start progressing from there. Accept that there are some things that you don't know, and say, okay, you know what? I don't know what's going on in this part, so I'll keep my ears and eyes open, right? And you continue along that pathway, and then you will start finding the philosophies within yourself that you are certain about, and you consolidate that, and you will be sure now about the part that you're uncertain about, and be brave enough to listen to two sides of an argument, and then at the end of the day, process it, and then come up with a decision, even if it's not a certain decision. At least you know that, look, you know what, I'm about 80% sure about this, so I still have a 20%. If I hear something else, maybe I will change. So that is fine, but you need to have some that are backbone. Like I said, look, I am absolutely sure about this, and nothing anyone tells me can change this. Bam.
It sounds like you need a rock.
You need a rock.
Right?
You need an anchor.
Yeah. My parents brought us up like that. That you need to let himself be true. And you have to have within yourself that rock solid anchor that the winds blow. The winds will blow. The winds will blow. But you don't blow with every wind.
Right.
Because you know what you stand for. And like you said, I think the only way you can do that is really go within and look at what's going on with yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Go within. You know, because what's true for me may not be true for the next person. Like I hear people arguing over the keto diet is the best. No, the vegan diet is the best. No, the paleo diet is the best.
Right.
You look at all these different people and they all had some amazing experience with the thing
Very
you're
true.
talking about. A vegan person has an amazing experience vegan. A paleo person has amazing keto, on and on. What's true for you? And I think a lot of that's missing. For me, inside myself, what I know is true is that I am a part of nature. And so I'm always going to look at nature as my guide. Is this happening in nature? And how is it happening in nature?
Yes.
And I use that information.
That is one of mine as well. That's one of mine as well.
Really? Like nature? Because I just know nature doesn't lie. Nature can't lie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like okay, if I eat more of spinach, I maybe I don't like the taste of spinach as much as I like Oreos, but inside myself I know a life where I'm eating more spinach than Oreos is a good life. Simple. Very simple.
Yeah. And that leads me to the second point now, right?
Yeah.
The second point is starting today, just try eating more healthy. If it's even just more water that you're going to start with, your diet is critical because, okay, in terms of how we connect with the physical realm, it is through our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to connect in a healthy way and a strong way and a vibrant way, your body needs to be functioning properly. Your brain needs to be kicking. Your muscles need to be well toned. You need to be light enough so that you can move around. You need that energy. You need the energy. It is the things that we put inside this mouth right here. It's the things that we put inside that is going to keep us, right? So every time you're going to put something in your mouth, think about it like, is this good for me? Okay, maybe I'll pass on this one for now. Yeah, that's the next one. Be careful of what you're putting inside your mouth.
Because what I put in here, Grandma used to say, "You are what you eat," and I didn't never really understand that. But how is that true? You are what you eat.
You are what you eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's going to affect everything else. It's ultimately going to even affect how you feel. Because when if you're eating foods and you're just feeling weak and no energy, you're just there. It's like, oh, you know what? I can't bother doing this today. I don't have the energy for this today. But if you have the energy and you say, okay, yeah, let's do this. I'm going to read this. I'm going to watch this video. Okay, let's go. I'm going to do this. Let's go.
Yeah, that's how I love feeling. And when I'm like this, I'm like, oh my goodness, I need a nap.
What is wrong? Yeah.
And you know what's fascinating? Last night I had this big salad. And then I also had this like a wrap, like a veggie wrap, and it had all this greens in it. Do you know when I ate that, I did not feel the slightest bit of sleepiness. It was energizing food. It wasn't, when you eat the lasagna and all of this, you're just like, what? Not saying anything's wrong with lasagna. Just make a choice. That's all. Maybe have lasagna once a month rather than once a week. I don't know.
Right. Because later on I'm going to do videos on these specifically to explain it and how to figure it out. Because let me just say something about foods.
Yeah.
You have to start paying attention to the foods that you put in your body because we're all different. Because I could say, look, peanuts are amazing, right? And then someone that has peanut allergy go and eats peanut and they die. Right? Yeah. So our bodies, just like our lives, are very unique. And each of us needs to spend the time to figure out our own bodies. So we need to figure out the foods that does well with us and foods that don't do well with us. All right? It's unique as well. Everything about us is unique. Every single thing about us is unique.
Wow. I love that. Which means that, once again, we can listen to the body's intelligence, because my body tells me when I need more sleep, when I need more sleep, right? It's speaking to us. It's giving us information. I don't always listen, but I'm tuning in more to that.
Right.
Yeah. So
and the third point, no, exercise. Oh my God. No.
The one we hate.
No. No, listen. 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 I don't want to I don't want to say which. You just have to. I don't want to say which is better, but if I had to choose between diet and exercise, I'll put exercise over diet. I would. If I had to choose, yes. Because look on it. If I'm taking in a whole lot of calories, unhealthy calories, right? At least if I exercise, I know that I'll burn it out. If I build a little muscles, my basal metabolic rate will be increased. So even while I'm sleeping, I'm losing weight, right? So in that regard, I can say, okay, you know what? It's better I exercise and eat crap than not exercise at all. Because even if you're having a healthy diet, the muscles still need some maintenance because the muscles are going to be weak otherwise. There's nothing that's going to replace exercise. Nothing. There's nothing that can replace exercise. You have to use the muscles. It's like they say, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it.
So work those muscles every single day.
Well, 5 days a week, you know,
Oh,
it's
5
okay. You
days.
can rest 2 days. You can rest two
Okay.
days, but and it doesn't have to be the typical exercise that we have in the mind, like going to the gym. It can be dancing, even singing helps the inner muscles, right? Even singing helps, and it helps your diaphragm, and you have to sit up straight and everything, right? So even singing helps. If you have children, put them on your shoulder, throw them up in the air, swing them around. You know, yeah, man. If you have a lot of housework, put on some music and really get into the housework. You know, start sweating, man. Make things a little more difficult and enjoy yourself at the same time. You know, there are many things we can do to exercise, man. Many things.
It's so true. It's so true. My favorite forms of exercise is walking because I had to bake it into my life rather than
Right.
go to the gym. Okay, get the gym bag, go to the gym, and of course the yoga studio. I love yoga. Yeah, yoga is something I can do anytime. It only requires my body, and so anytime I can
Right.
do it, which is really I love yoga. I love it. And then walking. I do a lot of walking. I don't own a car, so it just makes me have to walk everywhere. And sometimes fast walking, sometimes slower walking. And I just noticed that when I'm walking and looking up at the sky and getting sun, I feel good. I
Oh
just
my
feel
God. No, trust me. Looking at the greenery in nature, it does something. Trust me, it does something.
so amazing, right? So amazing. And we don't always have to know, oh, Rory Day. I love Dr. Singh. Rory Day says, I love Dr. Singh. That's so beautiful. We do love
Thank you.
Dr. Singh. He's just got such a wonderful, you know, aura and countenance. And so I'm just fortunate to have him in my life, and I'm fortunate to bring him to all of you all too, because I knew y'all would love him too. So our next conversation, as we wrap up, our next conversation is going to be about ayahuasca. You want to do a little
Oh,
teaser about that?
oh, wow. I'm gonna love that one.
We have some ayahuasca stories, don't we?
Oh yeah.
So do you want to give them a little tease about coming back for that conversation on ayahuasca?
All right, I'm gonna give them a tease. If
Okay,
you
give us
haven't, let me give
tease,
you a tease. Let me
teasers.
tell you what ayahuasca and other psychedelics are like if you haven't tried it. You can explain as much as you would like to a virgin what the climax of sex is like. They will never know until they try.
Woo! Oh, and that's a mic drop. That's a mic drop. So, Dr. Nicholas Singh, do you have any programs coming up? Do you do coaching? Do you do services for people in addition to your social media? How can people, if they wanted to work with you, do you have a way that people can work with you or not yet? Or what do you?
Okay,
Yeah.
I am going through a transformative process right now, so I'm putting my business plan together and everything. So I haven't got to that phase yet. I'm heading back to Jamaica this Saturday coming.
You go
So
back to
within the
Jamaica?
next,
You're in the
right,
Bahamas?
right. I'm in CT right now.
Oh, nice. So you'll be
Yeah,
in Jamaica soon.
yeah.
Are you
So when I get,
in Jamaica?
sorry.
Are you going to be staying there in Jamaica at home?
Yeah, I'm going to be staying there for a while. I've been doing some traveling and researching, and life has been taking me all over the place. But it's time for me and my son now. I'm going back home to my son. I miss him so much.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. What part of Jamaica do you hail
All
from?
right. So I was born in Kingston, essentially, which is
Okay.
like the city.
Yeah.
However, I'm going back to Manchester this time now. That's into the hills. It's very cool and nice. The air is awesome. So I'm going back to Manchester. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Is it like where the Red Mountains are? Like,
The No, it's not the Blue Mountains, but it has a lot of mountains as well. It's very high, very high.
wow. I got
Yeah.
to tell you a Jamaica story. Me and my girlfriends went to Jamaica. I've
Hmm.
been to Jamaica 4 times, right? Love Jamaica. Love the food. I mean, I have some Jamaica stories that are just so funny.
The food is amazing. I haven't. The food is amazing. Trust me.
And you know, getting that jerk on the side of the road where they're cooking it on that little tin thing. Oh my goodness. And it like burns your mouth. Like I think Jamaicans are good with it, but Americans, we're like like the jerk they have in America, they had to help us because you know we can't take all that heat. We can't
Yeah.
our system, but when you go to Jamaica, you get the real Jamaican, right? The real jerk. We went to Jamaica one time and we were going from one part of the island to another part of the island. So we get on this little plane thingy. Well, first we were in the jitney, and that was hair raising. You know, the jitney in and out. You know, the little. Of course, you know what a jitney is. That was my first jitney, and it was like packed with a whole bunch of people.
Oh, you went fully authentic, all right?
Because you know what I like to do? I don't like to do like the tours and stuff that tourist people do. I always like to do things that just regular Jamaican people are doing. So I go to like the regular stores and all that stuff. And so, same thing in Africa. I was on this little bus thing in Africa, and I mean, it was bouncing up. And the roads was like, and you know, it's packed with people and everything, you know. So we're on the jitney, and then it's driving on the left side, you know, opposite like America. So it was hair raising. But we get on this little plane, a tiny little Cessna plane. I kid you not. I was sitting on that plane, and he was coming toward the mountain, and I was like, up, we're not going to make it. We're about to go into the mountain. And he was like, I was looking. I can't do it. My heart's not going. I tell you, that ride was so hair raising. I still remember it, you know, on one of those little planes in Jamaica. But we thank you, God, we're safe, and all the experiences I had in Jamaica. Love Jamaica. I feel at home there. I feel at home in Jamaica. So, you know, yeah. All right. So next time we're going to be together. Is it going to be a week from today, or are you going to let me know, or we'll announce it? Yeah.
I will let you know, but I love this vibe, so I'll be here I'll be here, but I'll let you know for sure.
All right, family, that is it for Dr. Nicholas Singh. Also, I want to let you know that we have a Wealth and Wellness group. And many of you, if you're not in my Wealth and Wellness group, it's called the Wealth and Wellness Vortex on Facebook. I want you to join it. All you do is text me 47177. You text Wellness Vortex to 47177 because I'm committed to all of us operating at a very high frequency. That's what my life is about. And I'm the very best that you can operate. That's what we do in the Wealth and Wellness Vortex. Kathy's members, Centrail is in there. A lot of our family members are in there. Hop in the Wealth and Wellness Vortex, and you're going to see it under the description, as well as Dr. Singh's links, as well as disclaimer also from Dr. Singh. I love you, Nick. Thank you so much for being with us.
Always a pleasure, my dear. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
All right, family. That's a wrap. Love you. Peace.
All right, guys.